Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another live stream watch along on the Dibbly-Dobbly podcast. It's Australia versus Bangladesh, match number 4 of the Super 8's in Group 1. And Australia will be delighted with their work after the first innings of this match has been completed. Bangladesh finished on 140, and Australia need 141 to win. It was a very good bowling performance by Australia. A bit disappointing from Bangladesh with the bat. They would have hoped for a lot more runs. I don't think 140 is enough. Needed probably over 150 to challenge Australia. So we'll just recap what happened. Bangladesh batted first, and we'll have a recap of how they went in their innings before we get to anything else in this game and talk about what's going to happen next. Bangladesh batted first after Australia won the toss and chose to bowl first. Bangladesh 8 for 140 from their 20 overs. Hussain Chanto, the captain, top scored with 41. Hildroy second best with 40 in the Bangladesh innings. And Australia, their bowlers, bowled pretty well. Pat Cummins took a hat-trick, 3 for 29 from his 4. Sampa picked up a couple, a wicket for Stark, Storness and Maxwell. No wickets for Josh Hazlewood. But as always, he bowled very economical. So Australia need 141 to win, to book the 2 points and go on to their next game against Afghanistan this Sunday, with one win away from potentially qualifying for the semi-finals alongside India, who had a good win against Afghanistan last night. They were winners by 47 runs in that game. John, good to see you, John. You say misty rain drizzling in might make gripping the ball hard for the spinners. Yes, definitely for Bangladesh. Coming into this run chase, definitely will be hard for their spinners to grip a little bit, but I think it's a passing shower, so that wind that's blowing across the ground will certainly blow it away. But you won't be surprised if you see the Bangladesh fielders with towels in their pockets, trying to get that moisture off the ball. And Bangladesh, they'll be disappointed to get 140 for 8. Would have liked to get 150 to challenge Australia. I don't think it's quite enough. They would have liked much more runs in hindsight, but for the Australian team, they'll definitely back themselves to chase down these runs. It's certainly a very good surface to bat on from all reports, and not too many demons in the surface, but if you bowl in the right areas, there's something there for you. So there is a bit of rain in Antigua at the moment, but I think the rain's easing off, so let's hope we can get out there. I think Australia will be hoping to get out there and chase down these runs quickly and make sure that they do get the 2 points, because in this Super 8 stage, you've only got 3 games, and you can't afford to lose a game or have a game that's affected by the weather and get a point, because it will come down to net run rate or anything like that in those different scenarios. So Australia will be hoping for the full 2 points, boost the net run rate, and then go into their next game against Afghanistan. As I said earlier, 1 win away from qualifying for a semi-final. If you win at least 2 games from 2, you're pretty much through. You're pretty much guaranteed a place in the semi-finals. But if we cast our mind to Group 2 and talk about Group 2 quickly as we wait for the second innings to commence, Group 2 was quite interesting in the Super 8s. England had a good win against the West Indies. South Africa, dispatched the USA in the end in that game. So Group 2 will be an interesting group, 3-way battle between England, South Africa, and the West Indies. And that's certainly going to be an interesting game tonight. Well, coming up in the early hours of the morning here in Australia, England and South Africa That's the next game on the schedule. And that's going to be interesting. If one of those two teams win, they pretty much are through to the semi-finals. And then the West Indies will be under pressure as well. Whoever wins that game, the West Indies will have to win their last two games to hopefully go through, because they dropped the first game against England the other night. And Group 2 pretty much heating up as a group that is going to be tough for any of those teams I mentioned to go through to the semi-finals. But then you have a look at Group 1, pretty much the easier of the two groups, you would think. And India and Australia are probably most likely to go through. So Australia need 141 to win. It's not a challenging total by Bangladesh, but they got to something in the end. The covers are still on. There's a little bit of measly rain, drizzling a little bit, but I don't think it's that heavy. The ground staff are moving the covers around. So I think we'll get underway very shortly. So not too much of a delay, we hope. That sort of rain, it's frustrating, but that's the way it goes when you play an outdoor sport like cricket. Of course, you got to wait for the conditions to ease up a bit. So as we wait for this rain to subside and we get some cricket in, hopefully Australia will be hoping to get out there and get this job done, really, book the 2 points and get their Super 8 campaign off to a winning start as they look to progress to the semi-finals. They'll be hoping that this rain will slowly ease off. But it's been an interesting tournament thus far. As we come to the business end of the tournament towards the end of the month, it has been quite an interesting tournament. We've seen some good cricket from all the teams at points, at various points throughout the tournament. And no doubt, I think we're in for a very thrilling conclusion. Certainly heating up as we progress to the semi-finals. As we continue to wait, some stats. Mitchell Starc is the leading wicket taker in World Cups across ODIs and T20s across the two formats. He's got 95 wickets. He surpassed Lasif Malinga's record of 94. So he's picked up 65 wickets in the ODI World Cup and 30 in the T20 World Cup. Mitchell Starc continues to break records, which is good to see. So as we continue to wait, obviously the rain is still falling a little bit. Yeah, so we do have a delay, but let's hope the rain slowly goes away as Australia begin this run chase, really. I think that's what they will be hoping that's the case. And also Pat Cummins, he picked up a hat-trick in this game as well, which wasn't in consecutive balls in an over. It was spaced out across 2 overs. But he was able to pick up the hat-trick. It's the 7th hat-trick at the T20 World Cup, and obviously the second from an Australian after Brett Lee in 2007 in that edition in South Africa. The covers are off, so we look like we're going to get a start very shortly, and Australia will be looking to get this job done. You would think 140. For Bangladesh, in the end, probably not enough. Probably would have liked 150 to put a little bit of pressure on Australia, but 140, I think Australia will be very comfortable chasing that. I don't think they'll be too concerned in terms of conceding that with the ball. I think it was, at least it's not over 200, which is the main thing. Do let us know in the chat if you're listening. Have you seen this T20 World Cup? We would love to hear your thoughts on how you've seen this tournament. It's certainly a interesting tournament, that's for sure. Too far away from starting this run chase for Australia after that delay with that little interruption. So we're not too far away from the start of play, we hope. So the covers are off and the rain has just about stopped. And we're raring to go for a start in this run chase. So we're about to begin the run chase for Australia. The covers are off. The ground staff are just attending to a few things, which they're almost finished. And they'll be looking to get the players out there as soon as possible. Bangladesh, a reminder for those who've just joined us, 8 for 140 from their 20 overs. The captain, Hussein Shanto, top scored with 41. Good contribution from Hildroy with 40. The rest of the Bangladesh batters struggled a wee bit. Weren't able to get some fluency or rhythm in their batting. Australia bowled pretty well. Pat Cummins picked up a hat-trick, of course, and becomes the second Australian bowler to do that in T20 World Cups for Australia. Brett Lee was the first in 2007, which I think, from memory, was also against Bangladesh as well. But I'll have to check that just to be sure, but I think it was from memory, if the old memory serves me correctly. Yes, it was. Yes, it was against Bangladesh, so I was correct. So, perfect symmetry, I suppose. Brett Lee got the T20 World Cup hat-trick for Australia against Bangladesh in 2007. And Pat Cummins has done the same thing almost 20-odd years later. So how about that for a coincidence? Just having a look at the highlights of Australia's bowling performance. I think, well, they'll be very pleased, keeping Bangladesh down to 140 for 8. Definitely a better bowling performance by Australia today compared to their game against Scotland, which they had a different attack. But for this first game of the Super 8s, back to the 3 quicks, Stark, Hazelwood, Cummins and Zampa. And so Marcus Stoinis was back bowling again, and then Glenn Maxwell with his overs. And Bangladesh just didn't quite get going at all in their innings. They just sort of stopped and start and just didn't really get any momentum in their innings at all. But they did well to get to 140, but it's probably not going to be enough given how well this Australian batting lineup bats, and they bat pretty deep, and they showed what they're capable of, especially in the last game against Scotland, chasing 180 in that game. Travis Head and Marcus Stoinis doing what they did in that partnership. Now then, so we do have a little bit of a delay still, obviously, with that rain, but I think we're not far away from starting to think the ground stuff. We're just worried about a bit of moisture that went on the surface. Just trying to get rid of that, just to make sure that the pitch is pretty dry. So we still have a delay, a little bit, to commence this run chase, which is a bit frustrating, but at least it's not raining. That's a good thing. Bangladesh warming up. Mustafa Rahman there. Tuscan Ahmed going through their paces as they prepare for this defense of 140, which is going to be a challenge, no doubt. But they've got to believe in some shape or form, Bangladesh, that they can defend this down. So not far away from a restart. So a few minutes away from that. 10:35 local time over there in Antigua. So that's in a few minutes from now. So we're not far away from a restart. So the rain has stopped. It's just a little bit of a concern about the moisture on the pitch, a little bit. I think the ground staff were blowing that off with a leaf blower just to get that moisture off the surface a little bit. Maybe it just came underneath the covers as that shower passed by just before. I suppose this is one of the things about cricket I think a lot of people talk about, is about these rain delays and about if the rain has stopped, let's get out there and be proactive. No doubt many people will make those comments right now because the rain has stopped and you could be out there playing by now, but obviously the ground stuff just worried about a bit of moisture on the surface, just worried about that. So that's why they've been attending to. So I suppose we just got to wait it out and hope that this rain doesn't come back, which it doesn't look like it will. It's just a passing shower. So Australia, if they win tonight, they'll be in the top 2 in Group 1, alongside of India, who've won a game, and that was against Afghanistan yesterday. And pretty much if you win 2 games from the 3, you're pretty much certain to go through to a semi-final out of the 3 games. If you lose 2 games up front, you're pretty much out of it. So danger signs for Afghanistan losing that game yesterday to India. If they did have any chance of going through to a semi-final, they had to beat both India and Australia, you would think, to do that. But India had a comfortable win in the end, really. 47 runs. They made 8 for 181. Afghanistan bowled out for 134. Were never really in the run chase, really. Just kept losing wickets at the wrong time. And for India, first game for them in the Caribbean after playing all their games in America. So far, so good, but there's still a long way to go in terms of the business end of this tournament. Once we get into a semi-final, could be a challenge. So just a few minutes away from the commencement of the second innings. Ground staff still out there attending to the pitch, just worried about that moisture that's gotten on the surface. I'll be hoping that we can get play underway. They got the rope just going around the outfield, just getting that moisture off the top of the surface on the outfield. Obviously, it will be a bit of a challenge for Bangladesh with that ball. They don't want that ball to be wet. But I said it's pretty good for the batters because the ball will skim across the outfield very quickly to the boundaries. So trying to make it fair for both sides, which is what you want. But the crowd staying on. A reasonable crowd. I wouldn't say it's a full house, but a reasonable crowd in Antigua for this match. A mix of Australia and Bangladesh supporters, and the Australian team on the sidelines looking pretty happy, having a laugh, having a chat. Travis Head, David Warner about to walk out as they get ready, putting on their gloves and getting ready to walk out to the middle. Travis Head had a very good game in the last game against Scotland, making 60-odd in that run chase. Important partnership with Marcus Stoinis too. Australia were reeling 3 for 60 in a bit of trouble behind the rate, and then he came in, Stoinis, with Head and put on that partnership that really got Australia back in the match and really changed the momentum of that game. And that's what eventuates it. So Australia will be looking to capitalise in this power play. And Bangladesh, what did they score in the power play? In their innings, we'll have a look. 1 for 39, Bangladesh in the power play. So Australia will be hoping to be on top of the rate early on in this power play, really put Bangladesh under pressure in this run chase, get ahead of the rate, put them under pressure a little bit, put them on the back foot, and that's what you want to do. So not far away now from starting. Travis Head, David Warner about to make their way out to the middle. The umpires are out to the middle there. Michael Goff and Richard Illingworth, the umpires. Bit of a fist pump before they go out to commence the second innings. They're out there. Ground staff have done a good job after that short delay with the rain. David Warner and Travis Head not far behind the umpires as they're about to cross over the boundary and about to commence this run chase for Australia. David Warner, of course, in his last T20 World Cup. Travis Head in his first T20 World Cup. As Bangladesh have had their huddle, they're out walking to the middle. And followed by the Australian openers in Warner and Head. So we're about to get this run chase underway. We haven't lost any time. We haven't lost any overs. Australia will need 141 to win from a required run rate of 7.05 runs to the over, which you would think should not be a challenge for Australia. But for Bangladesh, at least it's something. At least it's something. Would have wanted a lot more to challenge this Australian lineup, but it is something. 140 is something. Not quite what they would have wanted, but anyway, it is something to defend if they can. They've got to bowl well to do that because they know that David Warner and Travis Head will definitely get off the blocks quickly. They're not going to stick around for long, as we know, with David Warner's aggressive play and Travis Head's aggressive play as well. But not many people had Bangladesh in the Super 8s based on their current form of late. But they've done well to be here, I suppose, and let's see what they can do. We're about to commence this run chase after this lengthy delay. It's going to be David Warner on strike. And he's going to take strike. Travis Head at the non-striker's end. So it's going to be some spin first up for Bangladesh. Not a surprise that they're going to start with spin. Many teams do that in the power play, just get one over a spin out of the way early. It can often work and often sometimes backfire. So it's going to be Mehdi Hassan. 38 wickets in his career in T20 internationals, which is not bad. So he's going to be in charge of bowling the first over of this match. Hassan in to Warner. This one defended by Warner to point, and there's no run. So dot ball to begin the innings for Australia. Not a bad start for both sides, for Bangladesh and for Australia. Bangladesh will need to strike early in this power play. Need to put Australia under some sort of pressure in this run chase. Hassan in, and this one, switch hit from David Warner, and he laps it down to third man for 4. First boundary of the innings, and David Warner already going into the trick bag as he pulls out that switch hit. Changed over to a right-hander and just paddled it, or lapped it, really. Down to third man for 4. Clever batting. Only 2 fielders outside the circle in this power play. And already, Australia get their first boundary of this run chase. Didn't take David Warner long to get into his work. He's had a reasonable T20 World Cup thus far, David Warner. Hassan in. This one short, and Warner works it down to wide mid-on, off his pads, and he moves on to 5. Australia none for 5. And off to a reasonable start. Travis Head on strike. He'd be looking to get into his stride as we progress throughout this run chase. He'll be looking to put the pressure back on, no doubt, as he so often does. Here's Hassan in. This one full, inside edge by Travis Head, and it will trickle out to a short fine leg for no run. Travis Head nearly played that back onto his stumps, but he gets away with it. Hassan in, and this one defended by Head to the offside, no run. Looking just to get in, get set, face a few deliveries, Head, and then start to branch off if he can. So reasonable start for both sides. Hassan in, this one Head just defends to mid-on, and there's no runs. End of the over, none for 5. A reasonable start for both sides, for Australia and for Bangladesh. Could have been a lot worse from Hassan in that first over, but he gets away with it. Just only 5 runs conceded. Jihan, I hope you're well, Jihan. I hope you're having a great time over there in the Caribbean. You say in a bar in St. Lucia right now, watching this game with 3 South Australians. Oh, that's good. That's good to know, Jihan. Good to see some South Australian representation there. And Jihan says, Anna Victoria. I just met them randomly. Well, that's good, Jihan. I said, that's fantastic. I suppose that's what the game of cricket does. Connect with people from all parts of the world. It's going to be Tanzim who's going to continue for Bangladesh. He's going to bowl the second over of this run chase. He's going to be bowling from the Sir Andy Roberts end here in Antigua, one of the West Indian legends, of course. Tanzim in to Warner. This one short. Warner works it to point. He flashed it to point. Maybe a drop chance there. But in the end, they come through for a single. He flashed at it pretty hard, David Warner, threw his hands at it. Could have been an opportunity. We'll have a look. It was aerial a bit. Oh, yes, it was. It was an opportunity. Gone down for Bangladesh. It went quick and fast to the fielder at point. Got both hands to it. And unfortunately, for Bangladesh, it did not connect. And Warner survives. Tanzim in. This one short of a length. And Head just works it out to backward point. And there's no run. It was Hildroyd out there at point. He dropped the catch. Bangladesh, they've got to be taking their opportunities when they come. Of course, they've got to make sure they catch everything and take the half chances. That was a chance, no doubt, but wasn't swallowed up by the fielder, Hildroyd at point. David Warner survives. Tanzim in, this one short. Head punches it through the covers. He won't quite get to the boundary. Outfield a little bit slow because of that little bit of a shower that we had, but Head will come back for 2. And he's off the mark. Australia none for 8. Chasing 141 to win. Australia, certainly one of the favourites to win this tournament. No doubt. They've started well in this tournament. They were undefeated in the group stage. Tanzim in. This one short. Pulled high and long into the air from Head. It will go over the deep square leg boundary. No, it won't. It will just fall inside the boundary. Just plugs. The fielder will come around, cut it off for 2. Not quite sailing over the rope there from Travis Head there, but he'll pick up 2 nonetheless. None for 10 for Australia. Yeah, just not quite getting that over the rope there, but the fielder did well to cut it off. The wind is blowing in that direction. There's a bit of a crosswind going from side to side here in Antigua with that breeze. So Travis Head's definitely, the breeze will definitely help him, that's for sure. Tanzim in, this one wide, outside off stump. Head flashes at it, play and a miss, through to the keeper, no run. So definitely that side of the ground, left-hander, of course, it's going to be aided by the wind. It is blowing from right to left if you're watching on your TV. So not a bad shot from Travis Head to play that pull shot on the previous, or a couple of balls ago, which only got 2 runs, but that wind's certainly helping if you can get it in the right area. Tanzim in, this one flashed away through backward point for 4 from Travis Head. He picks up a boundary to finish the over. It's the end of the over, none for 14 after 2. Australia starting to get into their work, starting to get into this innings. Travis Head, David Warner, just seeing a few deliveries, just getting used to the surface conditions, taking their time. Really 141 should be chased down. And Australia have started well. Bangladesh dropping an early chance at point by Hildroyd. David Warner could have been gone, but he survives. Australia need 127 off 108. Required run rate is only 7 runs and over. Australia already matching that with 7 runs and over their current run rate. So they're definitely up with the rate. Mehdi Hassan is in, and Warner drives this to Shanto at cover, and there's no run. Hassan in. And this one full on leg stump and swept, or pulled away by Warner, I should say, over deep square leg for 6. He was in the slot, and easy pickings for David Warner. He's not going to miss out on that. You've got to bowl it into the pads, on leg stump, and David Warner just helped it on its way over the rope for the 6 runs. Already Australia off to a good start, none for 20. Very good start indeed. Bangladesh had an early opportunity, didn't capitalise on it. David Warner dropped at point by Hildroyd in the first over. Hassan in again. Warner can't get it past the fielder at cover, and there's no run. Umpires today, Richard Illingworth, 32nd T20 National for him. And Michael Goff is the other umpire at square leg. Hassan is in. This one, 4. Warner drives past the fielder at extra cover. It'll be fielded by the long off fielder, and they'll come through for a single. Michael Goff, 27th T20 International for him today. Bangladesh wiping the ball. A little bit of moisture on the outfield because of that shower that we had at the innings break. So going to be hard for the spinners to grip. Hassan is in to Head. And Head backs away, outside leg stump. He was looking to dispatch that over Mehdi Hassan's head, but he mistimes it. And there is no run. Wide of the crease from Hassan as well. Head just got an inside edge onto the pads and nearly trickled back onto the stumps. Yes. Not far away. Hands on heads. But Travis Head, he lives dangerously. He's going to throw his hands at everything. Hassan is in. And Head works it to point. And there's no run. It's the end of the over, none for 21. After 3. Not a bad over from Hassan, just a 7 from it, but Australia will be happy. Picked up the boundary in the over and looking to capitalise in this power play, which is the important thing. It's going to be Tuscan Ahmed. He's going to come into the attack. Change your bowling. Tamsin is off and Tuscan is in. Vice captain of the side, and he makes his way to the bowling crease for the first time this evening. Bangladesh need early wickets. They need wickets. They need to put Australia under pressure. You take wickets in T20 cricket, you put the batting side under pressure, but 140 in the end they scored. Probably in the end, probably not enough. But if they do take early wickets, and they had some chances, they've had a few chances that haven't quite gone their way. The drop catch of David Warner at point. A couple of inside edges from Travis Head that could have gone back onto the stumps, but didn't. So the luck going Australia's way. Tuscan is in to Warner. This one, Warner doesn't time. It goes out to cover and there's no run. Dot ball. None for 21. Australia, 3.1 overs have been bowled. Tuscan Ahmed into his first server, looking to get the first breakthrough for Bangladesh, hopefully. So here's Tuscan. Right arm over the wicket to David Warner, the left-hander. This one short, pulled by Warner. Pass mid-on for 4. Just hit that with such power, David Warner. In the end, it was pretty effortless. It was pretty straightforward, I should say. Short from Tuscan, didn't get up. David Warner, easy pickings for him. Got it past the fielder at mid-on. Down to the boundary for 4 runs. He's 17 off 10. Already Australia, none for 25. Signs are looking ominous for Bangladesh here. Warner getting into his work. The veteran. Here's Tuscan in again. This one's short, and Warner works it off his pads, off leg stump, through square leg for an easy single. He moves on to 18, none for 26 for Australia. It's going to be Travis Head on strike, who's 8 off 10. So 5 runs off the over. Boundary and a single and a dot. Australia will be happy just to pick up a boundary and over, get over the required rate, which is at the start of the innings was 7 runs required to the over. Already Australia have already maxed that. Tuscan into Head for the first time. And Head just dispatches him past mid-off for 4 runs. Another boundary. The boundaries keep coming for Australia. Not so much what Bangladesh need. They don't need these boundaries. They need dot balls. They need wickets. But for Tuscan, he won't be happy about that. Conceding a boundary of Travis Head. You're going to give him a little bit of width outside off stump. Travis Head's just going to go for it. And he obliged. He's 12 off 11. 2 balls left off the 4th over from Tuscan. What can he do? How can he get out of this over? Already 9 off it. Tuscan in. This one short, and Head doesn't time this pull shot. In the end, it will just trickle out behind square on the leg side, and there's no run. So Australia will be very pleased with the start in this power play. None for 30. 1 ball left to the 4th over, and they've started pretty well. Tuscan in for his final delivery to Head. This one short, and Head pulls high and long into the sky over the deep mid-wicket boundary for 6. And what a way to end the over for Australia and for Travis Head. 15 coming off that over. It's none for 36 after 4. And Australia definitely off and running in this run chase. Yeah, too short from Tuscan. Not really challenging Head. Not really getting up in terms of the bounce. And easy pickings for Head. A lot of teams will bowl short to Travis Head, knowing that he is vulnerable to the short ball early on in his innings. But you got to get it much higher than that. Otherwise, it's not going to challenge him at all. And easy pickings for Head. And Australia need 105 of 96 balls. So they just need a runner ball, 6.5 runs and over they need. So definitely ahead of the rate and definitely putting Bangladesh under pressure early on in this game. John says crunched. Yes, it was. It was crunched. That's for sure. Too easy for Head. And Bangladesh have got some concerns that they need to address. We're going to change the ball. There's a bit of a chunk missing out of the ball. A bit of leather has just come up. 4th umpire out there with a box of balls, and they're going to make the change. After Travis Head hit that 6, it must have hit some concrete. It must have hit the LED advertising boards. It does take a chunk of leather out of the ball. So the umpires are going through that process of matching the replacement ball with the ball that has been damaged. They found one that's matched up. Not quite. Travis Head off to a good start again, as he did against Scotland. So, ominous signs for Bangladesh here. They've had a few opportunities that haven't gone their way. A couple of inside edges from Travis Head that could have gone back onto the stumps. They had a drop catch of David Warner at point. And now it's going to be a change in the bowling. It's Mustafizur Rahman, the Fizz. He's into the attack for the first time tonight. He'll be hoping to get a breakthrough for his captain, because Bangladesh do need one. So the ball has been changed. Umpires are happy with the replacement ball. And we're about to get this 5th over started. David Warner, 18 off 11. Head, 18 off 13. None for 36 for Australia. They're going along nicely. Bangladesh What can they do? Can they defend 141? Mustafisa in, this one full, and Warner drives. Misfield at cover, and they'll come through for a single. John says, does net run rate carry from the group stage? No, it doesn't, John. So the group stage doesn't carry over to the Super 8s. You start again. So net run rate doesn't count. Pretty much you start from zero. So it doesn't carry over, which I think is fair. I don't think, it should carry over. I think you should start from zero and then, take it from there. It's only fair. It does put other teams at a disadvantage if that's the case. Mustafisa in, this one full down the leg side. Warner in the end, Travis Head tucks it off his pads to deep backward square leg, come through for a single. And Australia, none for 38. See, not the only one to ask that question, John. A lot of people have been asking that question. But no, it doesn't carry over. Start again from zero. Mustafisa in. This one full, and Warner works it to the leg side for an easy single. Moves on to 20, none for 39 for Australia in their quest to chase down 141. And they've started very well. Not a bad start. Comfortable start for Australia. Bangladesh under some sort of pressure early on. Travis Head on strike. 19 off 14 for him. Mustafisa in. This one short, and Head plays a flat batted pull shot down to mid-on. Didn't quite time it, and there's no run. So far, not a bad over from Mustafisa. Just only 3 runs from it and a dot. Bangladesh need an early breakthrough. Need a breakthrough here. Mustafisa in. This one full and dispatched, lofted straight back over his head from Travis Head. And it's gone to the side screen on the full for 6. In the slot. Not where Mustafisa would have wanted to bowl that delivery. He was full in the slot. And all Travis Head did was just to loft that straight back down the ground over Mustafisa's head. It's to the side screen for 6. That's a outstanding shot from Head. And he's looking to tee off. Putting the pressure back on Mustafisa. It was a good over up until that point. He'll be disappointed to concede that 6. But for Travis Head, he's in his groove. He's in his element. He's 25 off 16. Warner's 20 off 13. His partnership 45. 1 ball left of the 5th over. Australia looking to make a statement, looking to put their foot down in this first game of the Super 8s for them. Mustafisa is in. This one short, and Head dispatches it over. Backward point. 1 bounce into the rope for 4. Couple of boundaries to end the over. Good over from Australia. Good over from Head. End of the over, none for 49 after 5. One over left of the power play. Australia making most of this power play. John says crunch again, that's for sure. He hits the ball very hard, Travis Head. Throws his hands at it. And if there's one person to change a game, it's Travis Head. Already 29 off 17. Warner 20 off 13. None for 49 for Australia after 5 overs. 13 runs came off the last over. Bangladesh under a bit of pressure now. Australia firmly in front in this game to chase down 141. For Bangladesh, they'll be hoping that they can pick up a wicket or 2 here to change the course of this match. But by the start that Australia have, already 92 needed off 90 balls. It's almost a run a ball. So They're definitely ahead of the game at this stage, Australia. Mehdi Hassan comes back to bowl his third over. He's going to be bowling right arm around the wicket to the left-hander and Travis Head. This one is swept away by Head to deep square leg for a single. The 50 partnership is up, and Australia are none for 50. Last over of the power play. Good power play from Australia. And Travis Head and David Warner have got off to a very fine start. Here's Mehdi. He's in. And this one, an inside edge from Travis Head. Nearly back onto the stumps again, but it trickles out down to the third man boundary. He'll pick up a single. Head. He was looking to dispatch that over the leg side, but in the end didn't quite time it. But he gets a leg by in the end. The crowd enjoying themselves in Antigua. Some people riding a mechanical bull. Bit of a rodeo there to entertain the crowd on the sidelines. Hassan is in. This one full and defended by Warner. Back to the bowler, and there's no run. He's 21 off 15, David Warner. As Travis Head 29 off 18. None for 51. Last over of the power play. Australia looking to make the most of these 3 deliveries of the power play remaining. Hassan is in. This one full on the pads. And Warner just works it out to backward square leg for an easy single. He moves on to 22. Hassan in. This one short, and Head dispatches it down the ground to Long On, who collects it on the bounce, and they'll come through for a single. 1 ball left of the power play. One ball left of the power play. Australia have done very well. None for 53. They need 88 off 85. Hassan is in. This one short, pulled by Warner and dispatched over the deep square leg boundary for 6. An excellent way for David Warner and for Australia to finish the power play. 10 runs off the over. End of the over, it's none for 59. After 6. And Australia will be very pleased with their work in the power play. And definitely miles ahead in this game now as they chase down 141. Bangladesh feeling the pressure of this opening partnership. Well, the poll that we put out in the chat, everyone says Australia are favourites to win. 65% of you have said Australia to win. 35% of you believe that Bangladesh still have a chance. But after the start that Australia have had, you would think Australia are firm favourites to chase this down. 82 off 84 required. It's pretty much a run of ball. Change of the bowling is going to be Richard into the attack. He's going to bowl some spin, some right arm spin. Richard. Travis Head 30 off 19. Warner 28 off 17. Australia need a further 82 runs from 84 balls to win. They'll be hoping to chase down these runs quickly, Australia. Obviously, net run rate will be in the back of their mind. Look to get the job done. Richard is in. And this one driven down the ground by Head to long off for a single. So Australia will be looking to chase down these runs in quick time, obviously boost net run rate. Think about that in the back of your mind. You want to win the game first and foremost, but you also want to think about chasing the runs down in X amount of overs. And I think Australia are on track to probably do that. I don't think this is going to go the full distance with this start from Australia. Richard is in. Switch hit from Warner. Gets it past the fielder at slip. just eluding the fielder at slip in a race away to the third man boundary for 4. And David Warner picks up a boundary. I think it's... So we've got a bit of rain here. Australia, a none for 64. 5 overs have been bowled. So if the rain stays around, Australia will win this match. I think they are ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis rate at this stage, and I think they are. So if the rain continues to fall and we don't get back on, 5 overs have been bowled, and Australia will win this game based on Duckworth-Lewis, because I think they are ahead of the rate by miles, I think. I haven't seen what the Duckworth-Lewis pass score is at this stage of the innings, but I think Australia are miles ahead, given the start that they've had. So the rain's returned. The ground staff looking, well, pretty miserable. They have to come back out in the cold and the rain. But they're back out there. They're putting the covers back on. Another shower has come through. But I think Australia will be pretty safe in terms of Duckworth-Lewis and the rate, the pass score at this stage of the innings, which I think they'll be pretty safe and home if we don't get back on. So the rain has returned yet again. But Duckworth-Lewis, Australia well ahead of the pass score. We're not really sure what the pass score is. According to ESPN Cricinfo, they said we will confirm the Duckworth-Lewis pass score, but given Australia have started well, none for 64, they're miles ahead of the rate of the pass score on Duckworth-Lewis. So, and also 5 overs have been bowled as well to constitute a game. So if we don't get back on, 5 overs have been bowled already. We're into the 7th over. Don't get back on, Australia ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis pass score. They will win this game based on Duckworth-Lewis and get the 2 points and go through to their next game this Sunday against Afghanistan, looking to cement a spot in the semi-finals, if that's the case. So far, Bangladesh, their bowlers have been put under pressure. They've had some opportunities to pick up a wicket, but it hasn't materialised. Australia just taken full toll here. It's been a very good start by the openers and Warner and Head. None for 64 when the rain came in to stop play. 77 off 82 required for Australia to win. Miles ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis pass score. We've bowled 5 overs in the match, so that's not a problem. Looks like the covers are coming off, so that was a short rain delay. The covers are quickly off, and we're going to get back out there for some play. That was a brief shower, but the wind is certainly helping the ground staff just blow that rain away. Pat Cummins, a reminder, got a hat-trick early on today. Second Australian bowler in T20 World Cups to pick up a hat-trick in T20 World Cups for Australia. Against Bangladesh today. Also, Brett Lee was the first, and he did it in 2007 in South Africa, who also picked it up against Bangladesh as well. So a coincidence that Pat Cummins has done the same nearly 20 years later. So the ground staff are putting the covers back in their place. They've taken them off pretty quickly. That shower was a brief shower. It didn't last long. So we are going to get back out there to resume this game. I don't think Bangladesh would be too eager to get back out there, given how well Australia started in this quest to chase down 140. Thanks everyone for tuning in. If you've tuned in to our live stream today, really appreciate the support. And thanks for joining us as we look to see out the conclusion of this game between Australia and Bangladesh. Australia well on track for victory. Have a look at the table in Group 1 of this Super 8 stage. India on top with that win against Afghanistan. Australia could join them with a win here tonight, which they're on track to do so against Bangladesh. And then Afghanistan and Bangladesh would have lost their first game of this Super 8 stage of this tournament. So Australia, very important to remember net run rate as well. I think if they chase down the runs and under 20 overs, which they're on track to do so, that will definitely boost the net run rate in the positive by miles. It will definitely put pressure on Afghanistan in particular, and also Bangladesh in terms of their hopes of qualifying for a semi-final spot. So that will be the objective from Australia. But first and foremost, it's just about winning the game first, and then think about that later when it comes to net run rate. But they're well on track to chase down the runs in under 20 overs. You would think should do it quite easily in the end. So the ground staff just mopping up the outfield with that brief shower, which didn't last long, then more than, 20 or 30 seconds. And hopefully we can get back out there, have some play, and, have some cricket, which is the main thing. Tomorrow, South Africa and England face off in Group 2 of the Super 8s. England had a fantastic win against the West Indies. South Africa defeated the USA in their first game. This game will be a big game. Whoever wins this game, more than likely to go through to the semis. Whoever loses, bit of a battle with them and the West Indies in terms of the head-to-head. That game for the West Indies against South Africa will be of utmost importance, depending on how England and South Africa, that result goes in that game. But that's what it does in the Super 8. So it does put pressure on teams, especially when you've got 3 games and you can't really afford to lose 1 or 2. Well, if you lose 2, you're pretty much out. But if you lose 1, it really puts pressure on. The rain has returned. It's just came back, the shower. So the covers are back on. Not the full covers, just the cover of the pitch is on. The ground staff are waiting on the sidelines to put on the big covers if required, but they've just put on the small cover that covers the strip of the wicket. The ground staff hoping that this wind will just blow this shower over the ground here in Antigua. But as we've already discussed, Australia miles ahead. They're ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis. 5 overs have been bowled. We're into the 7th over, so there's no problems there with forcing a result in this game if we don't come back on with the weather. So Australia will be very happy with the situation at the moment. Not so much Bangladesh. It hasn't quite gone to plan for them today. So Australia, after 6.2 overs, the Duckworth-Lewis pass score is 35. So Australia miles ahead. No need to panic in any sort of capacity. They've pretty much got this game sewn up. So we haven't lost any time in terms of the weather, but we may lose a little bit of time if this shower lingers a little bit. Bangladesh looking, sort of disappointed in a way a little bit, but Australia definitely went on top. Daru. Sorry if I got your name wrong there. You say, are you in university or high school? Well, I finished high school long ago. I finished school more than 7-8 years ago now. So, no, I'm not in high school. I finished that years ago. And university, no. To answer your question there. So the rain continues to fall, and Australia will be very happy with the situation, as I mentioned just before. They'll be very happy with how this game has panned out for them. They bowled well, they've batted well, they've started well, none for 64 in the run chase. So looking ahead, as we have this rain delay, looking ahead for the next game for Australia in the Super 8s, the next game Australia will play is against Afghanistan. And that will be on the 22nd, 23rd of June here in Australia. But the 22nd in the Caribbean, and that will be in Kingstown, not Kingston. And that will be in St. Vincent in Kingstown. And Australia will be playing Afghanistan in their next game there. For Bangladesh, they'll be playing their next game against India. And that will be in Antigua, here at the Sir Vivian Richards Stadium, where this game is taking place between Australia and Bangladesh tonight. So for India, they can pretty much sew up a semi-final place there against Bangladesh. You would think they'll go in as favourites, India, to do that. And also Australia going into the game against Afghanistan will be favourites to win that as well, and pretty much wrap up Group 1, you would think. And then obviously Australia and India will play each other after that to determine who will finish on top in the group. In terms of the semi-final matchups with Group 2. So Bangladesh and Australia, those are the two games next for them. And then obviously tomorrow, England, South Africa, and then we have the West Indies and the USA. And those will be interesting games nonetheless. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I hope everyone is enjoying this T20 World Cup. It's been a very interesting T20 World Cup. I've certainly enjoyed it. We've seen some very good cricket at times throughout this entire tournament. Umbrellas are up in the crowd. The big covers are on. And the rain continues to fall here in Antigua. But Australia are miles ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis pass score, really. After 6.2 overs, I think the pass score was 30-odd. So they're definitely ahead of that. And also we've bowled more than 5 overs to constitute a game. So if we don't get back on, we've already bowled 5 overs. And Australia miles ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis, and they should be able to get the result in this game. So that will be the state of affairs if we don't quite get back out there. And I think we're nearly sort of approaching that territory where we will start to lose a little bit of time in overs. But we haven't quite hit that point as yet. But I think we will be shortly if this rain doesn't subside. As we wait for the rain, if anyone's got any questions or comments they would like to make, be more than happy to answer them on this T20 World Cup or anything relatable to the game of cricket as we wait for the rain to subside here in Antigua, or the match to be called off officially and Australia awarded the win. Would love to hear what you have to say, your thoughts on this tournament, your thoughts on other things in the game of cricket as well. Just having a look at the highlights of the catches throughout this T20 World Cup. We've seen some very good catches throughout the tournament. So the covers are still on, and how it plays at the moment. Australia are none for 64 in 6.2 overs. Duckworth-Lewis pass score after 6.2 overs is 35. So Australia are ahead of that. And it looks like the covers were coming off there, so the rain has stopped in some capacity. So we may get back on to finish off this match. I think that's what the crowd want to see, and I think that's what everyone else wants to see watching as well. We want to see a conclusion to this match, and obviously Australia are ahead in this game, and they're certainly in control. So I think Australia will be happy if they don't come back on either way. They're pretty much guaranteed a win in this game. So while we have a delay in play, a bit of a reminder, if you want to follow the podcast, of course, make sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel and follow us on Twitter and on Instagram. Also, we're on Facebook as well. Give us a like and a share there. And the podcast is available on Anchor, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts if you want to listen to the podcast there. Make sure you follow us on all of those platforms, and make sure you click the bell on YouTube especially so you don't miss out on those episodes that we do release from the podcast. And also we are Patreon. If you want to support us on Patreon, we are on Patreon as well. And that link to our Patreon page is in the description of this live stream today. So make sure you check us out on Patreon if you want to support us there. It'd be much appreciated. And also, if you want to learn more about cricket in America, of course, this T20 World Cup being in the States. Obviously, we've interviewed quite a lot of people from America on the podcast over the years. Nate Hayes from Emerging Cricket, Big Innings. Nick and Gabe from Cricket for Americans. Joey from New World Cricket. Peter Della Penna, of course, the journalist based in the States for ESPN Cricket Info. We've spoken to him about cricket in America. And if you want to watch those episodes, they are available on our YouTube channel. And also, if you go to the USA Cricket playlist on our YouTube channel. You can catch all those episodes right there. To learn more about US cricket and what's going on over there in the States as cricket tries to expand and grow in the United States of America. Well, if you just join us, the news is that the rain has returned, and we do have a delay for weather as the rain has returned here in Antigua, so between Australia and Bangladesh. So we're not far away from possibly losing time and the cut-off time. Pretty much the situation of the match is pretty much in Australia's favour. None for 64, chasing 140, which Bangladesh mustered up in their first innings. And Australia ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis pass score at this stage. Pretty much the game is in their favour. So if we don't get back on, 5 overs have been bowled, which constitutes the game. So 6.2 overs into the 7th over. So we're pretty much covered in that regard. And also Australia ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis pass score as well. So if we don't get back on, Australia will be awarded the win. And that will be the end of the game. So we hope that this rain subsides and we can get a bit of cricket out there and resume. But I suppose in the context of it, given what has happened, I think both teams will be sort of eager to get back out there. But I won't blame Australia for not wanting to get back out there. They're pretty much in control. So we continue to wait as this rain subsides. But John says, shame about the 3 washouts thus far. Poor planning by the ICC, it seems. Well, a lot of people have said that, John. Well, you're playing cricket in the West Indies at this time of year. It's the rainy season. And also scheduling games in Florida in the south of hurricane season is probably not the best way to go about it. But I suppose this was the only window in the calendar to play this T20 World Cup. Many people say why is the reason for that is because of the IPL, and that takes up a couple of months in April, May, sort of towards the end of April into June. So that's why we're in this sort of situation. So it's not ideal, but the weather happens anyway. We can't control the weather, so we have to wait it out, I suppose. But could have been a lot better from the ICC in terms of planning, and but given how compact the schedule is, trying to fit in tournaments like this with the IPL, you have to try and work around the IPL, which it's sort of a hard thing to do, really. You can't really plan things around the IPL because the IPL takes up so much of the calendar, plus other things as well. So it's something that cricket needs to sort out in terms of how much cricket we play and the calendar itself. But I don't think they're willing to do that, I don't think, in terms of trying to make the calendar a lot simpler. But that's just the way we're going in cricket at the moment, that we're going to have lots and lots of cricket played throughout the year. So but it could be resolved in a simpler sort of solution. But no one has really thought about a simpler solution to the problem. And but it is disappointing. You want to see as much cricket as you want as possible, especially in T20 cricket, knowing that it's only 20 overs, and if weather intervenes, I don't think a lot of people would like to see 5-over matches, which often happens in T20 cricket from time to time with the weather. But could have done it a bit differently. But I suppose it's just the way it is. It's just how this tournament was planned out and scheduled by the ICC and various bodies. So it looks like we're probably going to get a restart by the looks of it. I think the covers are coming off, and I think we're going to have another restart again. So another start. Yes, the covers are off. The players are back. We got some action, which is good. But if you're a Bangladesh supporter and you're watching this game, not good. Not good signs. Bangladesh certainly under the pump, that's for sure, in this game. Australia flexing their muscles as they look to win a second T20 World Cup in their history, and looking to be the first team to concurrently hold the World Test Championship, the 50-over World Cup, and the T20 World Cup all at the same time, which hasn't been done before, and not a surprise that Australia will achieve these unthinkable achievements in the game. And many firsts as well. Australia none for 64 as we resume after that rain delay, which has taken some time. It's going to be Richard to continue. He was bowling his over until the rain came. He's in now to David Warner, and this one a play to miss by Warner. Nearly got an under edge. Through to the keeper, no run. Not far away from the stumps either. Dot ball to begin proceedings after the rain. John says no players would turn up for the World Cup if it clashed with their IPL contracts. Richard in, this one on the pads. Warner works it out to square leg. He'll pick up a couple of runs. He's very quick between the wickets, but they decide not to run the second. Just the single will do. He moves on to 33, none for 65 for Australia. That's very true, John. But the IPL, it's definitely something that you have to try and work around. And obviously the IPL ain't going to change from its schedule slot. So, that's the ideal time of playing cricket in the Caribbean. They usually play in April, March, where it's not the rainy season. But obviously with the IPL, it has to be worked around there. Richard in, and this one has bowled him. Clean bowled Travis Head. He's gone for 31. Australia are 1 for 65. And that one just skidded through a bit quicker. Travis Head missing that, all ends up beaten on the inside edge and just collecting the off stump in the process. And for Bangladesh, something to smile about. Richard picks up the breakthrough that Bangladesh needed to break this opening partnership. But I suppose Travis Head did his job. 31 off 21. He's bowled by Richard. It's 1 for 65. And that brings out Mitchell Marsh to the crease. The captain at number 3. Australia needs 76 off 79. Travis Head provided the platform and the start for Australia with David Warner. And Australia are pretty much in the box seat. But something for Bangladesh to smile about, and for Richard picking up a wicket as Mitchell Marsh takes guard. And he'll be facing Richard for the last ball of the 7th over. Mitchell Marsh, he's done an okay job as captain in this T20 World Cup. Certainly the team are rallying behind him as leader. Richard, 1 for 6 from his first over. Got the wicket of Travis Head just before. He's in to Marsh. This one full and let go by Marsh. Through to the keeper, no run. It's the end of the over. 1 for 65 after 7. So an important breakthrough for Bangladesh just to get the first wicket of this innings, just to give them something to smile about after what has been a very tough start. Six runs off the last over, so not a bad over from Richard. David Warner, 33 off 20. Marsh just faced the one ball, yet to get off the mark. Australia needs 76 of 78 required. They'll be looking to finish this off very, very quickly, boost the net run rate in the process, as it's going to be Mehedi Hassan to continue, and this one defended out to the offside by Warner, no run. He's going to bowl his last over, none for 21. Thus far, he's in. And this one defended again by Warner to the leg side, and there's no run. Hassan in. This one short, outside off stump. Warner just guides this one through the point region for a single. 1 for 66 for Australia. Yeah, Travis Head just done for pace. That one just skidded through. Clean bowl by Rashad in the previous over. But Travis Head did his job. Got the team and Australia off to a good start. With the opening partnership with David Warner. Here's Hassan, he's in. This one full, defended by Marsh. Back to the bowler, no run. Hassan in. This one short. Plain a miss by Marsh. Through the keeper, no run. He looked to cut that through the point region there, Marsh, but a plain a miss. Bit of extra bounce as well. Not far away from the stumps. Yet to get going, Marsh. He's only just arrived at the crease. Hassan in. This one full, defended by Marsh. Back to the bowler, and there's a throw at the stumps. Thinking about a single off the ricochet, but in the end, it's a dot ball. End of the over, 1 for 66 after 8. Not a bad over from Mehedi Hassan in his last over, just the one from it. Australia still in the box seat to chase down 141. They need 75 off 72 to secure 2 points and join India as the two teams to win a game in Group 1 of the Super 8s. Everyone enjoying the cricket there in Antigua, dancing along to the music. Bangladesh supporters cheering their team on. Very happy with that wicket of Travis Head in the last over. Rashad is in. And this one defended by Warner to the leg side, no run. So Bangladesh looking to put pressure on Australia with the spin here. Because they know that Australia pretty much in the box seat. They need wickets if they are going to win this game. Rashad is in. This one tossed up, and Warner dispatches this to deep mid-wicket, where Shakib Al Hassan does the fielding. They'll just come through for a single. Good to see the support. Always passionate supporters, the Bangladesh supporters. And a lot of the cricket supporters from the subcontinent are always passionate, very enthusiastic, especially the people from Nepal. Are very enthusiastic and very fanatical about cricket, which is great to see, fantastic to see. Here's Rashad, into Marsh, this one short, pulled by Marsh, or swept down to fine leg for a single. And he's off the mark, Marsh, off 5 deliveries. Australia 1 for 68. So not a bad situation to be in for Australia. They're cruising along to this target of 141. Rashad into Warner. This one full on the pads. Warner works it down to wide, mid-on, and he'll pick up a single. 36 for him. Australia 1 for 69. Travis Head, the first wicket to go. He was gone for 31, bowled by Rashad a couple of overs ago. Only wicket to fall thus far for Australia. Rashad is in, and this one swept and given by Marsh. Plain a miss. It trapped him in front. of the stumps. Hit him on the pad, given out by the umpire. I think he's gone upstairs to review it, Marsh. He's thinking about it. He finally decides to go upstairs for a DRS review. And let's see if umpire Richard Inworth got this one incorrect. But Richard, pretty confident on the appeal. He was pretty confident that he got Mitchell Marsh there. Let's have a look. So this one just coming into Marsh, just straightening down the line a little bit. Hit him on the pad. An attempted sweep shot by Marsh. He missed it altogether. There's no glove or bat involved. Clearly pad first. Richard bowling right arm over the wicket to the right-hander in Marsh. So the angle will be the key there. Whether or not it was missing the stumps. Probably going down leg, maybe clipping. Umpire's call, possibly. You can see leg stump as Mitchell Marsh moves across his stumps and plays at that delivery. You can see a bit of the leg stump behind him. So probably an indication that maybe just missing leg, maybe the angle of the ball. Hit him on the knee roll as well. There's no bat involved or glove on ultra edge, but clearly pad first. Here we go. Ball tracking, pitching outside off. Impact is in line. Wickets umpire's call. So just clipping the leg stump in the end. So Richard's got 2 wickets. He's got rid of Head, and now Mitchell Marsh, LBW. So Richard Illingworth, in the end, has to stay with his original decision, just clipping the leg stump. So the Australian captain, Marsh, has to go for 1. LBW to Richard. It's 2 for 69. But in the context of the game, I don't think Australia will be too worried that they've lost Head and Marsh at this stage, as Glenn Maxwell arrives to the crease. And he'll be looking to finish this off very quickly. But for Bangladesh, something to smile about. A couple of wickets. They need more than a couple of wickets if they are going to come back in this game, because they know Australia will continue to go hard. So it's going to be Glenn Maxwell, the new batter on strike. Hasn't had a big scoring tournament thus far. He's picked up a few wickets here and there with the ball, which you expect from Glenn Maxwell. He's a very crafty off-spinner. Coming in at number 4, Australia will be hoping for him to get a reasonable score tonight. So he's only scored 39 runs in this World Cup. 28 is his best. So we'll be hoping to improve those numbers this evening. Richard is in to Maxwell. This one, reverse sweep by Maxwell, gets it. Can't get it past the fielder at backward point. He'll only come through for a single. Bit of a misfield by the fielder at backward point. But a good over nonetheless for Bangladesh. Into the over, 2 for 70. Got the wicket of Mitchell Marsh in the process, Richard. So something for Bangladesh to smile about as we're nearly approaching the halfway mark of this run chase. 9 overs done, 2 for 70 for Australia. Just needs 71 off 66 balls required to win this game. But something for the crowd, something for the Bangladesh supporters to smile about. It's been a tough evening for them tonight. So it's going to be Mustafizur Rahman back into the attack. Bowled 1 over thus far, none for 13 from that 1 over. And he'll be looking to pick up another wicket if he can for Bangladesh. So he's got the ball in hand. He's about to begin this 10th over of the innings. He'll be bowling to Glenn Maxwell, who's on strike. So Mustafizur Rahman, left arm over the wicket to the right-hander. And Maxwell, this one angled across, and Maxwell drives it well wide outside off stump through the covers for 4. Easy pickings. And a boundary for Maxwell. And Australia move on to 2 for 74. Yeah, a little bit too forward. Yeah, a little bit too short outside off stump, angled across. Glenn Maxwell, the left arm angle of Mustafizur Rahman, from left arm over the wicket to the right-hander. And Glenn Maxwell, all he needed to do was get bat on that and just caress it nicely through the covers for a boundary. And that was the end result. That will definitely do the world of good for Glenn Maxwell in terms of his confidence. Here's Mustafisa. He's in. This one full and defended by Maxwell. Gets it past Mustafisa Rahman, who dives but doesn't cut it off. Goes down to long off for a single. Maxwell on to 6. Just grabbing his knee slightly there, Mustafisa, as he went for a bit of a tumble as he tried to field that ball. But he looks okay, which is the important thing for Bangladesh. They don't want him to get injured. He's had a few injuries over the years, Mustafisa. Hoping not to get another injury here. 2 wickets for Bangladesh. Travis Head, Mitchell Marsh. 2 wickets to fall, both by Rashad, the spinner. But Australia still firmly favourites. Mustafisa in. This one cut by Warner, straight to backward point. And there's no run. Don't think it carried. I think it bounced before it reached backward point. But David Warner, in his last T20 World Cup, looking to finish off on the right note. .66 off 63 required for Australia. So they're pretty much on their way. Here's Mustafisa in. This one short and let go by David Warner. He sees it go through to the keeper. No run. Just sways out of the way. And dot ball is the end result. Not bad. To bowl a short ball there from Mustafisa. Keep the batter honest. Keep him guessing. But David Warner played that very well. Just got out of the way of it. Just swayed out of the way. And kept his eyes on the ball, which was the important thing there. Especially when you're playing the short ball. It's very important. Just keep your eyes on the ball as long as you can. Mustafisa in. This one short. And Warner pulls for a boundary to deep mid-wicket for 4. You got a hold of that one, David Warner. Mustafisa paying the price for that short delivery. Not quite short enough. David Warner was in position, ready to play that pull shot, and I think he'll be very pleased to get 4 runs off that. Not quite out of the middle of the bat, but nonetheless, a safe shot. No fielder out there at deep mid-wicket, and 4 runs onto the total. That's all that counts. 2 for 79 for Australia. Last ball, the 10th over as we reach the halfway mark of this run chase. Mustafisa is in again to Warner. This one full on the stumps. And Warner just flicks it off his pads. Through square leg for a single to finish the over. It's the end of the over. 2 for 80 after 10, halfway through this run chase for Australia as they chase down 141. 10 runs off the over. And that's all Australia need to do. Pick up the odd boundary here and there. Rotate the strike. Make sure, up with the required rate. It's only run a ball, 6 runs and over required. And Australia well on track to chase down this total. And with that, it's going to be drinks after 10 overs. Australia 2 for 80. Cruising along, I should say, to the total of 140. They'll be very pleased with how this game has gone across the board, really. They bowled pretty well. Bangladesh will be disappointed. Rashad is in to continue after drinks. This one full. Warner works it out to backward point, but there's no run. 41 not out for David Warner of 31 deliveries. He'll be hoping to score a half century here, get some runs. Very important going forward for the rest of the tournament. Rashad is in, and this one, reverse sweep from David Warner. He gets it down to third man for 4. He's played that shot so well tonight, David Warner, that switch hit, reverse sweep, and picks up a boundary in the process. No one back there for Bangladesh, and a good option for David Warner to use against the spin of Rashad, I should say. Plays that shot so well, David Warner. That switch it. We've seen him play it over the years. Richard is in. This one tossed up on the pads, and Warner just works it out to deep mid wicket for another single. He moves on to 46. Australia 2 for 85. Need 56 off 57, Australia. So pretty much a runner ball, really, from here on in. Bangladesh under pressure of some sort. Glenn Maxwell has already hit a boundary. He's 6 off 3. He's on strike. He'd be looking to take down Rashid in this over. Rashid bowling his third over. And he'll be looking to, take him downtown if he can. Try and finish off the job. Australia will be looking to finish this up pretty quickly. Rashad, he's got the 2 wickets thus far. He's in. This one tossed up, and Maxwell just flicks him over. Wide long on for 6. It's all muscles. It's all hands from Glenn Maxwell. Did not move the feet whatsoever. And he muscled that with sheer power. We saw that in the 50-over World Cup last year, where he couldn't walk, he couldn't run, he couldn't stand with cramps against Afghanistan when he made that 200. And pretty much he just used all his power in his hands, and he did on that shot there. One-of-a-kind talent, Glenn Maxwell, that's for sure. Richard is in. This one again tossed up, and Maxwell fetches it outside off stump, and he won't quite get to the boundary. Good work there from the long-on fielder. Cuts it off. They'll come back for 2. Maxwell moves on to 14. It's 2 for 93. Australia just need 48 runs off 55 balls. Yeah, tossed up there by Richard, and Maxwell wasn't going to miss out on that full toss. Didn't quite get to the boundary, but good to see some commitment there by the long-on fielder. Is Tanzim Hassan. Fielding that long-on there. Did pretty well to cut that off and saved a couple of runs for Bangladesh. So Richard, last ball of his third over. And last ball of this 11th over. He's in. This one tossed up again outside off stump. Maxwell can't get it past Shakib at extra cover. In the end, it's a dot ball. It's the end of the over. 2 for 93 after 11. 13 coming off the over. Another successful over for Australia. 9 overs remain in this run chase. They need 141 Australia to win. Well on track to do that with 48 runs required off 54 balls. David Warner, 46 off 33. Glenn Maxwell, 14 off 6. And Australia not far away from victory in this first game of the Super 8s for them. Well, Australia, they've got 2 batters in the top 5 leading run scorers of the tournament. Travis Head's in third place with 178, and David Warner is in 5th place with 162. Bangladesh, they've bowled a lot of boundary balls. They haven't got it right with the ball tonight. Australia have been very good with the bat. Tuscan in, and this one flicked by Warner off these pads over the deep backward square leg boundary for 6. That will bring up his half century in the process. And David Warner raises his bat to acknowledge his half century to the crowd and also to his teammates. I believe it's David Warner's first half century of this tournament. Yeah, just 2 full on the pads, an easy shot for Warner. He's not going to miss out on that. And the wind certainly carrying that over the boundary with ease. David Warner, a lot of people have written him off, but he seems to deliver. Tuscan in again to Warner. This one short and pulled by Warner, but one bounce to the deep backward square leg fielder who'll come through for a single, will bring up the 100 for Australia for only 2 wickets down, and they just need 41 runs required off 52 balls. Now then, looks like the rain's come back. David Warner's rushing off the field with Glenn Maxwell, and the Bangladesh team follows suit. So the rain has returned again, but pretty much Australia in the ascendancy and well on track to win. John says, nice 50, Davey. Indeed it is, John. It certainly is. He's been written off many times, David Warner. A lot of people have their opinions about David Warner, and it doesn't seem to affect him that much. But indeed, a nice half century nonetheless. So the rain's coming down a lot heavier. So I think this could be the end of the match. This rain looks very heavy. Australia miles in front. Don't need to worry about Duckworth. Lewis pass score 72 at this stage in 11.2 overs. They're pretty much 2 for 100, so they're miles ahead of the rate. So they're 28 runs ahead of the pass score at this stage, Australia. So they're pretty much in the positive. And we've bowled more than 5 overs, so we're pretty much safe in terms of result in this game. And Australia will be very happy to get the job done. So I think judging by the rain and judging by how hard the rain was pelting down just before on the pictures, probably looks like this delay could last a bit longer. We may probably have the game called off here due to the timings and the cutoff time. And in the end, it doesn't really matter. Australia are pretty much on top. They're well on track to win this game. Bangladesh have been very behind the 8 ball from the get-go, especially with the bat. 140 was not quite enough. And certainly that has been proven to be the case when Australia have started this run chase. So the covers are on. Ground staff are back again. They've been running off and on the field all night. So they'll be hoping to get the covers on, which they have, and make sure that the pitch is protected. So another delay as the rain has come back and returned in this match between Australia and Bangladesh. Pretty much Australia are well on top of this game, you would think, as the rain continues to fall here in Antigua. So everyone's sitting around, the rain coming down heavily. It's the heaviest it has been throughout today. And the Australian team pretty happy with how things are looking up in terms of the situation of the game. Pretty much miles in front. They'll be very pleased with how things have gone. Not so much for Bangladesh. It's been a very difficult match for them today. So judging by the reactions and judging by everyone's sort of body language at the ground, it looks like that this could be a lengthy delay. It could be the end of the match as we know it. So umbrellas are up and people looking for cover, which is not a bad option, I suppose. Don't want to be sitting out there in the cold. Yeah, the full covers are on. And pretty much not much movement from the ground staff there. As the rain continues to fall here in Antigua. And a reminder, Bangladesh 8 for 140 from their 20 overs. Hussain Shanto, the captain, top scored with 41. And with the ball for Australia, Pat Cummins took 3 wickets and he got a hat-trick as well. A couple of wickets for Sampa. And a wicket each for Stark, Stoinis and Maxwell. No wickets for Hazelwood. Australia in the run chase, half century for David Warner, 53 not out. Travis Head did well with his 31 off 21. Mitchell Marsh only made 1. Glenn Maxwell 14 not out. Australia 2 for 100 when the rain came again. Bangladesh, their bowlers, well, Rashad, the spinner, took 2 wickets, and everyone else has struggled a bit with the ball and have gone for some runs. So that's the situation where we find ourselves at this point of the match, with Australia firmly on top. Either way, if we do get back on there, Australia are pretty much well on their way to chase down this score. Miles ahead of the Duckworth-Lewis rate, 28 runs ahead of the past score, which is 72 at this point. They're 2 for 100, so they're definitely miles ahead in this game. So there we go. That's the situation there in Antigua, and I think that will be a perfect way for Australia to start off their T20 World Cup campaign at the Super 8 stage. The 4th umpires out there with the umbrella. Looks like Adrian Holdstock, the 4th umpire out there. He's talking to the ground staff. He's got the umbrella up. Not much movement from the ground staff. The flags are blowing in the wind. That wind is not as strong as it was early on in the night. Looks like the wind's probably dropped off a little bit, not quite helping push that rain away, as it's done earlier in the evening. So there we go. I think that's a good way for us to finish. I think we pretty much know where this game's going to go. So thank you, everyone, for joining us for this live stream between Australia and Bangladesh in this T20 World Cup. I hope everyone enjoyed it just as much as I have, providing it to you. Once again, before we go, a reminder to subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you click the bell so you don't miss out on all the episodes of the podcast. And follow us on Twitter and on Instagram as well. And the podcast is available on Anchor, Spotify, and on Apple Podcasts as well. So we're available across those platforms. And also we're on Patreon as well. If you want to support the podcast by Patreon, our Patreon page is in the description. The link to that is in the description of this episode for all of you to check out and support us on Patreon if you want to do that. But we've got plenty of T20 World Cup episodes and live streams happening throughout the next few days. And hopefully you can join us again for those. But just recapping the situation here, rain in Antigua against Australia and Bangladesh. So at the moment, it looks like it's probably not going to go away. It looks like probably a lengthy delay. But with that being said, Australia pretty much on top in terms of Duckworth-Lewis, in terms of pass score and where they're at the moment. So Australia are pretty much home and dry, if I can say that, in terms of winning this match and looking to progress to the semi-finals, hopefully. But thanks, everyone, for joining us. I hope you have a very good day. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Until next time, keep safe and bye for now.